Guys, welcome to my channel. My name is MilliGen and I'm excited to release my very first video, and I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to introduce this channel, but I didn't want to drop this until I felt I had something bullish to share for DRIP. And I'm happy to say that I have got something bullish that I've been working on in collaboration with the DRIP Warriors. And for you guys that don't know the DRIP Warriors is a collection of DRIP maxis who are committed to fight for DRIP through coordinated buying efforts, providing liquidity support and buy pressure for DRIP. And for the past 6 weeks, I've been working on this concept that is essentially leveraging this idea into creating a sustainable and repeatable subscription-based protocol that will essentially act like a layer, like a community-driven layer 2 for DRIP. And the project that I'm talking about, some of you may be aware of it, some of you may not, but it's called DRIP Warriors NFT. And our idea with this project is to help and assist in the acceleration of hyper-deflation of DRIP. We recognise that there has been a lot of inflation of DRIP, and the faucet has yet to be retired at the time of speaking. But from my perspective, when the faucet does actually stop minting tokens, there's going to be a huge drive towards hyper-deflating the supply. And with this DRIP Warriors NFT project, we're essentially going to accelerate that process at such a rate, and we want to do it in a way that's going to drive price appreciation for existing DRIP holders. I've been a DRIP investor for the past 2 years now, since December 2021, and I've noticed some unhealthy patterns around price action, which is largely from obviously faucet inflation, but also due to the sporadic nature of buys and sells. And obviously over the past year, it's more so sells than buys. And in my honest opinion, it's difficult to sustain positive DRIP behavior in its current form. And I think with the faucet retiring, it is going to be easier to appreciate the price of DRIP. And what our idea is that by using subscription fees, we're going to be able to create regular buy pressure and support for DRIP in the form of DDD sacrifices, adding BNB liquidity to DRIP, and just straight buybacks of DRIP from BNB and USDT, which will be generating from the sale, from the minting of NFTs, and also our subscription fees. And to be honest, I've always been fascinated by the power of subscription-based products and how they can be applied in a range of services. I've got a number of paid subscriptions myself. I'm sure you do have you have your own too. And yeah, I just think of paid subscriptions as a sustainable and affordable way to add fresh capital, especially in DeFi and with a project like DRIP. And the idea is that the fresh capital will come into the ecosystem via an affordable USDT subscription, and these subscription fees will then be allocated in a trustless way to execute positive DRIP actions while also generating loyalty rewards for NFT subscribers over time. And the idea is that the subscription fees will essentially fund what we're calling warrior wallets, and will buy increased liquidity, remove DRIP from supply, distribute DRIP to contracts and to NFT holders as well. What we're aiming to do is considerably appreciate the price of DRIP, especially in the first phase of what we're doing, which I'll get into in a minute. And the idea is to be able to do that while hyper deflating the supply and eventually paying out some rewards as well. And important thing to remember, this isn't going to involve the recycling of capital, because we want to use the animal farm to generate yield, and we want to provide value in the form of price appreciation, and that will be obtained by the actions that the warrior wallets that we're using will be doing. So you guys are probably asking, like, what are these warrior wallets? So using the warrior analogy, you can think of warrior wallets like a platoon of soldiers, essentially carrying out consistent and repeatable positive DRIP actions that will assist in appreciating the price. And we want to be able to do this through high volume transactions that are going to be happening regularly, often, removing tokens from the supply and driving hyper deflation by doing so. And we plan to have warrior staking pools for each of our subscription tiers, which will be split between bronze, silver and gold. And the plan is that a percentage of these fees will then be distributed to each of these staking pools, and the warrior wallets will then act on behalf of each of those pools and utilize the fees to carry out the drip actions that I've already spoken about. Split strategies in terms of achieving this, and we're essentially basing this around military strategies, in keeping with the DRIP Warriors theme. And our first strategy is shock and awe, and this involves completely sabotaging the circulating supply by sacrificing all yield generated rewards through DDD, which will obviously remove 75% of DRIP to the tax vault. That will result in insane hyper-deflation, which we believe will have an extremely positive effect in terms of price appreciation for anyone holding DRIP in their wallet. And I've done some initial forecasts on this, and from my projections, based on a maxed out subscription base, I'm approximately estimating a 380% price gain just from our options alone. But if this does take off, then I expect there will be a lot of excitement around the launch, and there may be people front running to load up on DRIP. So I'd personally expect higher than this. You can never say what's going to happen, but I would expect a lot of price appreciation around what we're planning to do anyways. The second strategy is called divide and conquer, and what that is essentially is it involves completely annihilating sell pressure through a growing DRIP BNB liquidity pool. And this phase is going to be very focused on adding liquidity, because we believe that will create a more sustainable price floor, and the idea is that after the first 45 days we intend to create substantial staking positions across each of the DRIP Warriors NFT tiers, which will consistently generate amounts of greater amounts of yield and liquidity lock-in of DRIP through the allocation of subscription fees. Now, for an NFT subscriber, we're creating this so it's long-term bullish, as we expect rewards to continue to increase as time goes on. And the idea is that with the growth of staking pools through the shock and awe phase, of course, we will be in a position to distribute rewards to NFT subscribers. And the long-term aim, I would say, is to make it so that the value in DRIP rewards actually exceeds the cost of the subscription, and that would be through the forced actions, the forced positive DRIP actions, which will drive price appreciation and hyper-deflation. And what the idea is basically by creating these sustained actions, these sustained positive actions on DRIP, it's very difficult to have sell pressure have such an impact, because as I said before, sell pressure happens in waves. But if we've got constant buy pressure coming in, constant liquidity lock-in, constant removal of tokens, I think that will negate any of that over time anyway. It will negate a lot of that sell pressure. The idea is for the user rewards to unlock after a 45-day subscription period. So once that time's elapsed, holders would then be able to receive rewards, essentially. And the idea with the rewards is that we want to be able to, after that 45-day period, be able to issue loyalty rewards in DRIP pretty much every couple of weeks, and then also issue bonus rewards every 90 days, which will be from staking our AFP generated in the farm, and essentially any kind of BNB that's generated across each of the separate staking pools. And the Warrior wallets acting on that behalf would essentially go to buying DRIP back off the DEX and then being distributed back out to users. The added benefit, so we also want to distribute additional DRIP rewards for every 30 days based on or in the event that a Warrior wallet wins DDD. So if that was to happen, we would obviously, I think it's 1% a day for 100 days, but we'd look to every 30 days and distribute that back. Standing is that there are still a lot of DRIP maxis out there that want to support DRIP, and the major value add of DRIP Warriors NFT is going to be that forced price appreciation through the regular Warrior wallet actions that that our Warrior wallets are taking. And you can think about the automation being similar to or the way I want it to work anyway will be similar to the way AF is working in terms of their the range optimization of trading liquidity. And we want to be able to kind of have this as decentralized and trustless as possible, and create it in a way which is completely user friendly for the in terms of subscriptions, crypto to crypto, regular interactions with DRIP and Animal Farm contracts that can be hard coded with repeatable functions that are constantly forcing those positive actions that we need to drive the price. So So look, that's kind of a summary of where it is. I know that's probably a lot to take in, but the next steps are that I want to do a video in the next couple of days that goes into a bit more depth in terms of the light paper mechanics. I've kind of touched on a lot of this, but the mechanics are quite deep in terms of the way it works. And I also want to touch on another bullish NFT utility that we've got for specifically for the gold tribe NFTs, which will involve the DRIP Warriors DAO, which I'm touching upon. I can't get into too much detail because it is still kind of being discussed, should I say, between the DRIP Warriors team. And I also want to get into to our roadmap a little bit in terms of when we're looking to launch our NFTs, speak a bit more specifically about the NFTs themselves. I'm hoping to share around some images on the NFTs as well, just getting the designs finalized on those. And I definitely want to get into a projected impact on the DRIP price and the value for the NFT holder over time. Look, there's a ton more content to come. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel and post some comments in the chat if you've got any questions about the project. I'd be interested to know. And look, you can always hook me up in the TG. An admin in DRIP Warriors TG. But that's it for now, guys. So thanks for listening.